cut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back sports. Talking way too much, world come back sports. Talking way too much, world come back sports.
Yo, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game, A-Side official. No negotiations needed, period. You already know Stickin' Boys Fishing and Sports first in the building. What's good with it? Hey, good morning, everybody, man. It's Friday. Of course, it's 15 days remaining, man. Salute to those who support the channel and understand that this fight is coming up on September 13th. Yes, I'm extremely biased on the outcome. Yes. And please don't feel no type of way about the title, the description. Armageddon, 15 days into Crawford defeat Canelo in 10 rounds. Blockbuster upset, 3-time undisputed. That's who I'm going with. You know what I'm saying? Period. That's who I'm going with, point blank, period. But let's get to some other collective topics. OG Bruce Gas in the building. What's good? Honor Brown on the building. Salute to you, bro. I wanna talk about some other miscellaneous topics that's been floating around because I think it's important too. And we're going to get to the Hot Grease Chronicles EP 467 3 times over. There's information out there that people are speaking about Jermell Charlo's return. And I pretty much spoke on this briefly the other day. I can care less about Jermell Charlo's return if he's fighting Spence because it's long overdue. Now, there are some other fighters out there that I would like to see him fight, at 154 pounds. The reason for this is not just to discontinue Errol Spence's, active topics of discussion out here, but more so realizing and reminding you all that Jermell Charlo was an undisputed 154 champion. For you to return and don't fight a champion, in my opinion, like you were previously the former undisputed champion. Errol Spence has never had a fight at 154 pounds, nor has he had a fight ever since July 29th, 2023. So I would expect Jermell Charlo, after fighting Canelo, to come back and fight a Fundora, a Virgil Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? If he chooses to fight a Jerron Boots, at least Jerron Boots Ennis has been active. But I'm not going to waste my oxygen on believing that Ennis, his team, would have wanted to fight Jermell Charlo. Now, I will not leave out I will not mention Terrence Crawford because he's fighting next month. And that's coming quick in a hurry. But I will mention something like Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora at one point in time said He believed Crawford was the best fighter in the world. He wanted to fight him. But Sam, he wasn't on board with that. He didn't want Fundora out here mentioning Crawford's name. So what does that leave us right now? Jermell Charlo, Sebastian Fundora, aren't they under the same banter when it comes to promotions? I thought that's what they like over there. Why can't Jermell Charlo lock in a championship fight with Sebastian Fundora? Seriously. Like, why is that seems to be impossible? He fought Carlos Ocampo after Ocampo, was out of the ring. I'm not out of the ring. He had 3 foreign fights and then came back and fought Sebastian Fundora and went the distance. We see Virgil Ortiz's name out there. Cool. They trying to figure it out. But he is the former undisputed champion. I expect the king of the division to return to the division differently than for which they left. I expect it. He dropped his WBO belt time he stepped in there with Canelo. Tim Tszyu has since, scooped it up, lost it, and everything else that goes along with it. His lineup for becoming undisputed was Jason Rosario was in the mix. Tony Harrison was in the mix in the rematch. You know what I'm saying? Brian Castano. So if you was the 154-pound king, please return back to that division as if you're still somewhat partially wearing that crown. You don't come back and act like you disorientated. You come back like you know what your direction is. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying when it comes to that. Moving on from that guy, because there's not much I want to talk about with Jermell Charlo. There are other fights that we have to see materialize. I hear the Teofimo Lopez, and I hear potentially he may be fighting that other guy, Shakur Stevenson, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. It's a lot of talk, and it's been a lot of talk for quite some time with Teofimo Lopez. He just seemed to not want to engage in tough fights. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely like to see him unify the division that he's in currently, 140 pounds, unified with some champion. I see Richardson Hitchens talking to Subriel Matias and acting like he really wants that fight with Matias. Then you got Gary Antoine Russell. He's talking that talk like he really wants to get in there and unify the division. The only champion that is currently at 140 pounds that's not talking that talk is Tio. I don't know. Tio is, it seems like he's at a dilemma right now where he's trying to figure out which fight can make him the most money, but with somebody that's considered marginal. Somebody that's not considered an elite name. I don't know what's going on. It's frustrating to even hear his name come across the timeline, to be honest. But we'll see how that shit play out in the upcoming weeks. That's the only thing we can do. We can see how it's going to play out. Let's move on to one of the bigger headlines. Shakur Stevenson potentially fighting Teofimo Lopez. Let's see how the people pick that up. It's good to see Shakur Stevenson back in the halo of the fight fans a little bit. I mean, they after he went in there and fought William Cepeda the way he did, people are back on his side a little bit. They showing him that Olympian love. They say, okay, he showed us he can go in there and box. He ain't scared, this, that, and the other. I mean, they're going back to embrace Shakur Stevenson. I like it. I definitely like to see him fight, whether it's in Riyadh season or whatever. I definitely like to see him fight that fight, with Teofimo Lopez. But it's good to see him put on a performance like he did, and the fight fans gravitate back to who he is, who he was, who they enjoyed watching when he was at 130. You know what I'm saying? When he unified at 130. It seems like they're getting back into the groove. O'Shaquie Foster and Stephen Fulton. Damn good fight, man. I got Stephen Fulton in that fight. But damn good fight. I like two brothers getting together up there and fighting O'Shaquie Foster and Stephen Fulton. Cool boy. Yeah, I like that fight right there. I like that fight right there. You know what I'm saying? I like that fight. Just like talking about the fight between Terrence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Now, as I said when I was on the street, I was in the mobile headquarters, right? As I told you before, this fight right here, it has so many ins and outs, so many trap doors, corridors. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a maze for 12 championship rounds. The showcase itself is absolutely a blockbuster fight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've heard so much banter on this fight where if you gauge back on when Spence was saying he wanted to fight Canelo, I mean, some of the language wasn't even close to being spoken out loud. They was like, oh yeah, Spence. Bring him out there to face Canelo. Spence. But now Crawford, who's not even at 147, he is a legitimate certified champion at 154. Now it was the 14 pounds, but the 14 pounds have subsided. The 14 pounds was the talking points when this fight, this call out by Crawford was happening. We seen Canelo say he's easy money. We seen Canelo say he won't gain anything from fighting Crawford. He don't get anything from fighting Crawford. I mean, he's pretty much made it perfectly clear that he wasn't interested. And then the turn of events, when I guess he had to start selling the fight because it may come to fruition, he started talking a little bit better. Crawford, he's the best fighter. But see, with me and Canelo, I have to ask you this, Canelo. I remember when you attempted to co-sign Tio, and I just thought you lost points on that you could never gain back. You lost points, bro. You had Tio come up there telling Crawford, who's accomplished way more than Tio being a smaller fighter, you being on record as saying you would not gain anything from fighting Crawford. He's too small and all this other gibberish. You brought Teofimo Lopez to your side when he was in your camp, and you made the biggest mistake possible with co-signing a chump. You wanted to say Crawford need to fight Tio to do what? That was crazy work that you allowed Tio to influence you to do that, because you're much better. I don't think it's too many people that influence you to fight a fighter that truly wasn't benefiting your progress on where you was trying to go in the sport. You know that, Canelo. But now the fight is being made. We're 15 days out. The tone has changed from 14 pounds, y'all. Now the tone is, I see Crawford. He's gained weight. He gained muscle. But this weight class is for a reason. He ain't going to be able to carry that weight. He ain't going to be able to carry that weight. And I want to ask y'all, haven't y'all been to the airport before where you had to carry your goddamn luggage? When you carried your luggage to the airport and you waited and you waited and waited, and finally it was your turn to check that mother effing in. When you got up there and checked it in and they finally released, when you start walking through the airport with just your carry-on, was you able to make it to your goddamn gate? Were you able to make it to get some chow? Why are people up here acting like Crawford doesn't have the money for a legitimate, certified, qualified nutrition? The man is looking great in carrying, his 160 plus 170. He's probably cutting down right now, right? He's probably in the 170s for sure. But the fact of how he put on the weight, do y'all remember, or do y'all selectively choose not to remember a certain fighter that he fought by the name of Madrimov? So Crawford fought Madrimov at 154. When he rehydrated, he was probably a middleweight at that point in time. He probably rehydrated up to a middleweight. Now, whether numbers sit in the middle or just above the midway point of 165, 166, who cares? He was in the 160s, right? He has to weigh 167. He has to weigh close to the weight limit when it becomes on the 13th of September. I mean, on the 12th of September, right? To make that fight become official for September 13th. It's not too far off on him being able to put on weight, being that he fought Madrimov on fight night. He was in the 160s. To now having a year to prepare for this and stepping through the ropes and facing Canelo with a weight that he's comfortable with. And I'm gonna be honest with the Hot Grease Chronicles. Crawford gonna give Canelo that work. I mean, it's a lot of y'all that at this point, if you have some cotton balls next to you, wet them and stick them down in your ears. The reality is about to strike boxing, and the history is going to be etched for a long time, and it's going to be etched deep. Both fighters have ring IQ. Absolutely. Boxing IQ is no ifs, ands, or buts up for discussion. Boxing IQ for both fighters bilaterally constitutes an elite fighter. I just think Crawford has a higher ring IQ. People speak of Canelo fighting since he was 15 years old. Why don't he have more layers, more levels to his game if he's been fighting since he was 15 years of age? There shouldn't that be more levels? I look at Crawford's technique and games curriculum, his boxing curriculum as a gamesman, his gamesmanship in the ring. And he does it a lot more smoother than Canelo. Have you noticed when Canelo names comes up, one thing they're mentioned is what? Power. They mention Canelo's power, right? But if you go to the Christmas tree on BoxRec and you count down his last 6 fights, Canelo has went uniform Delta over. Whiskey, uniform Delta, do you read? Whiskey, uniform Delta over. He's greened up to a decision. Since coming off that Dimitri Bivol loss, which he went the distance, September 2022 all the way up to September 2025, y'all. Do you think he's gonna knock out Terrence Crawford? Like, he's been the distance his last 6 fights. And people, they want to factor in and overlook that Edgar Berlanga moved up a weight class. Yeah, he had some fights, right? At 168. Okay? But let's not get it twisted. He did move up. He had to get acclimated, right? At once upon a time, Canelo was down below 160. Edgar Berlanga was down before 160, right? Canelo Alvarez, once upon a time, he was down there 140, 147, something like that, right? So when I hear Bud moving up to 168 only because he's jump roping 2 divisions, you have to look at what Canelo did too, man. If we're talking about 140 vice 135, then we have to talk about the itinerary for which they took to move up these divisions. Yes, Crawford expeditiously may have had a shorter itinerary on his trip to 168. Canelo Alvarez definitely, in between that window, he had a surplus of experience with the fighters that he fought. I don't think he did much at 160 except Gennady Golovkin was in the building. Okay, salute to that. Salute to those 2 fights. Very, very good fight. But he never got around to fighting Jamal Charlo at that division. He also requested the franchise championship at 160. And then he really had his breakout division at 168. I don't think he had a breakout when he fought Sergey Kovalev or lost to Dmitry Bivol. I think his work, of course, becoming two-time undisputed 168 was one of his breakout divisions. So 3 out of his 4 divisions, in my opinion, 68 is where he did his most work. Just like people, they lay down the declaration and say Crawford did his most work at 147 pounds. That's up for debate. The reason why they will try to put that stamp on you is because he beat Errol Spence easily. Hold on for a second. He beat Errol Spence easily, yo. That's why they're gonna say what they say. He beat Errol Spence so easy that now they want to say, oh, he really didn't, do anything special. No. You have to look at it the way it's supposed to be looked at, that they're properly prepared for Errol Spence, and they went out there and got the shit done. But you also have to look at 140. 140, he did what he needed to do to become undisputed 140 for the first time. Right? But people look at it like he didn't do much at 147 because the anticipation from Jeff Horn was to always unify with Errol Spence Jr. And though that fight took several years, when it finally was out there, and finally people can say, you know what, I think it's truly going to happen right now. I don't want to hold my breath. Hold on for a second, y'all. Yeah, back to what I was saying, right? So when it came down to, Terrence Crawford finally dispersing of all his competition at 147 pounds, the only reason that you have individuals still, walking through kicking question marks when it's time to talk about Crawford's reign at 147 is because the way he made Errol Spence look. We talk about this. I know we've been through this over and over again, but we've never seen a fighter that was supposed to be on the same level. We're talking about a true raw 50-50 fight. We've never seen a fighter that was so underestimated go in there and make another fighter look like he was a different person. The display of dominance that Crawford put on Errol Spence Jr. have people walking into the Canelo fight like Canelo ain't Spence. We know he's not Spence. We know. But look, if you're talking about pound for pound, Canelo is absolutely in its truest form a pound for pound fighter. Errol Spence Jr. At that time, Crawford beat him, pound for pound fighter. He just was more than a better man that night. He was a more smarter fighter that night. He was levels above a fighter that was considered to be on paper on the same level, pound for pound, and with the achievements that, even though Crawford had achieved undisputed at 140, people still didn't give him the full value of his boxing FICO. They still didn't want to pre-approve him for that fight of going in there beating Spence because they felt like he ain't did shit at 140. They gave Julius Ndongo very minimal credit. And then when he moved up to fight Jeff Horn, nobody gave a damn, if they was a haters. Moved up through 147. They say he ain't fight nobody, even the coaches. Some of the trainers and coaches, oh, he ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. And then the beating that took place, the front end glove massacre at T-Mobile, the way he made this dude look when they were supposed to be on the exact same level, have people going into the Canelo fight and thinking that Crawford fans are believing that Canelo is Spence. That's just absolutely absurd. I can't speak for the fans that support Crawford. All I can say to you is it's going to be interesting. It's going to be extremely interesting. Do I believe Bud Crawford can stop Canelo in the late rounds via TKO? Yes. I don't know why people feel some type of agitation when they hear a voice say, oh, I think Crawford can stop. Do you not understand how combat sports work? Did you not see how Canelo was hurt in his career? There's been fighters that hurt Canelo, but people don't want to look at it as anything because they want to continue to just build up on the now. You ever notice that? You have discussions where people want to talk about the now. They don't want to visit the clenbuterol. They don't want to visit him coming off one of his best performances and popping dirty. They don't want to revisit him getting hurt by Cotto. They don't want to revisit that shit. But when it comes to Crawford, boy, you talking about first class tickets, goddammit. Boy, you talking about concierge service, boy, they up there, they ready. Let's take that flight all the way back to Gamboa. Man, I love visiting Gamboa. Where's he at? Miami? Oh, man, let's go back to Miami. Oh, man, I love the goddamn beach down there in the heat. Love Miami. He's starting to try. Okay, cool. Let's go down there. Let's revisit Gamboa. And then they want to revisit Aegis. Green Machine, boy, him and goddamn Gamboa, if they got paid for the way these boxing voices mention their name in these discussions, if they was only to get paid certain type of royalties, y'all, they would be living good. Because I can't tell you how many times these non-Crawford fans will revisit Gamboa and Green Machine, but they refuse to want to revisit when Canelo was hurting his career by Cotto. Isn't that the same thing? Isn't that the same thing, though? I mean, we gotta be kidding ourselves, man. I'm serious. Isn't that the same thing? They go all the way back to Gamboa easily, just like their next breath. There's no hesitation, y'all. Let's talk about, when Crawford was hurt. Oh my God, who? Gamboa. A Gamboa. So you don't want to talk about Jose Miguel Cotto? Huh? Oh, you don't want to speak about Cotto, having some success with Canelo Alvarez because he was stopped by Canelo. But Bud stopped Gamboa. And y'all want to act like Gamboa had Bud down on one knee like Colin Kaepernick protesting. Steve Willis ain't doing his job. Dereliction of duty. I can't pull up with this dude. I don't know if he's looking at me and looking at the crowd, man. God damn. Shit. Canelo actually stopped Cotto. But when they speak of Gamboa, they continue to think that he almost stopped Crawford. Anyway, enough of Gamboa. I hope he got some change off that, me talking about him, like many others do. But my whole point is when you're reminded on how solid of a tactician, of a master class performance that Crawford put on against Spence, why are you incapable of figuring out that he could potentially do the same thing to Canelo? Yeah, don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Just look at it as freaking boxing conversations. The Hot Grease Chronicles, y'all got to give my man Crawford the goddamn respect and common decency he deserves, goddammit. Why do you not think that Crawford can bring out that same boxing curriculum and teach Canelo a lesson on fight night? Explain that to me. That's all I want to. That's all I want to know. I'm not showing you these pictures so you can leave the live. I'm just showing you these pictures to remind you that Crawford's ability to unholster those weapons on Errol Spence can very well be the same way he unholster and lines up Canelo Alvarez on September 13th. The weapons ain't went nowhere. This man is hungry to prove to the people that he's going upside Canelo's head. Why y'all continue to cry like he can't talk shit? Why are y'all so angry, man? Don't be angry because it's combat sports, full contact. You know the rules. You know what the equipment consists of. And you know that you witnessed him do what he did to another pound-for-pound fighter. Canelo's no freaking different, yo. I said that Spence had no chance of beating Crawford. Those of you that follow me know that I said he had 0% chance of fight. WC he has a puncher chance. He has zero. I said Spence has 0 chance of beating Crawford. Now we get to Saul Canelo Alvarez. Different caliber fighter. Right? Canelo Alvarez, different caliber fighter. As I put in the passcode to the mid part of my brain, right, where the routing and mapping and archiving information happens, right? And I'm thinking about all this information that I've heard over time about people talking about how great the greats was. And they will tell you about the fights as to how they came up with this conclusion. Oh man, so-and-so was just great. I take this fight right here. They will sit up here and provide you with countless analogies, y'all, about how this fighter fought this fighter and why it's imperative that they speak on it right now, right? That's all I'm saying, right at this point in time, to booster their argument as to why they consider that fighter to be one of the greatest. Okay, I understand. I get it. Okay. But what I want you to also understand is that if you understand that in history, in the boxing annals, there's information out there of fights in the sport of boxing that is taking place that we continue to speak on in the current status of conversation. Whether it be heavy banter or light banter, we speak on those things. This is a fight. Terrence Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez is that fight. Why you all selectively choose not to give Crawford credit for challenging himself is beyond me. because I'm looking at like combat sports is a challenging sport. Why? Because boxing is one of those sports that the targeted areas is from the waistband up to the head. Okay. On the front side, not the back side, the front side, from the waistband up to the top tier of the cranium cap, the cranial cap, right? So if you factor all that into place, boxing is a dangerous sport because the brain takes a lot of punishment due to the physical anatomy and the innate gifts or disabilities that a human being was born with. Some fighters have longevity and some fighters don't. In this particular case, Canelo fighting at 15 years of age to now, I hear certain buzz, little chatter that Canelo may be on the decline. Then when it comes to Bud, they equate his age to being over the hill, antiquated, old, squeaky. They consider him to be an older fighter, much slower on his feet now. So I'm saying to myself, God damn, I don't have to be a scientist of this shit. If I look at Canelo with all the miles he have on the speedometer, Crawford getting older in age, you know what I'm saying? It seems like they match up very well. It seems like that's a synonymous analogy, ain't it? It seems like that is a synonymous analogy. Both of these guys are aged in their own way, which makes this fight even that much challenging for both competitors. Am I right or wrong, y'all? Am I right or MFing wrong, man? Both fighters, when it comes to the pros and cons, the cons for them is that they have wear and tear on their body different type of ways. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any MRI or CT scans for you. All I'm saying is Canelo been fighting since he was 15. Crawford is older. He's like 37 years old, something like that. So they should balance themselves on the scales of freaking doubt, right? They should balance themselves out real nicely. But then you have to also factor in what all these content creators and boxing enthusiasts and hardcores and all these so-called experts, you know what they say? They say, when you look at it though, the power is the last thing to go. The power. I say, shut your mouth. For real? The power is the last thing to go. That makes it even more interesting. Because Canelo Alvarez, he's sitting at 39 knockouts, y'all. Crawford is sitting with 8 less at 31 knockouts. Yes, Canelo has more fights, but when we remove and apply OxyClean with Gain detergent, the spaghetti and tomato sauce to Canelo's record, it's not that much different than Crawford's. I mean, I'm talking about super saucy early in his career. Super saucy. I'm talking about goddamn guacamole. I'm talking about damn super spaghetti cuisine. I'm talking about some of the finest beef that you can get over there with the clenbuterol in it. That's his record. So we can extract, damn near half of his record. Him and Crawford's resume is damn near the same. Damn near the same. I even give Crawford a bit of an edge when he stepped up and started facing quality opposition for the fighters that he stopped, vice Canelo. Yeah, for real. I mean, it's not difficult. He didn't knock out Gennady Golovkin. He didn't knock out Dimitri Bivol, Jaime Munguia, Jermell Charlo, Edgar Berlanga, William Skoll. He didn't knock those guys out, Daniel Jacobs. He did not knock them out, yo. I'm just saying, man. He even went to this with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. back in 2017. Yes, the basement enforcer. We can't even give him Amir Khan because DSG and Prescott had already did that. Miguel Cotto went the distance with him. We can't throw James Kirkland in there. Come on, stop it. He went to this one, Eris Nandi Laura. Come on, man. Crawford has better quality opposition that he stopped, in my opinion. Not to mention that incredible run that he went on at 147 pounds. Incredible. Pristine 147-pound run. They should take that 147 pound. Has anybody will anyone else be able to emulate a 147-pound run like this? What kept him hungry? Already entering the division as undisputed. What kept him hungry? To hear the chatter of all these people saying, hey, man, Errol Spence, man, he did all the heavy lifting, man. Errol Spence power, man. Crawford fight Errol Spence on the inside. He get knocked out, man. Errol Spence just too tough, too big, too strong. We want him to fight Canelo. Hey, man, forget that. Who is Crawford fought for him to fight Spence? Who is he fought? Hey, it was once upon a time, not to bring y'all back to, your grade school days, but once upon a time, Crawford was told to get a belt. Crawford couldn't go straight to Spence when he pulled up in the 147-pound division. He was told to get a belt. Once he got a belt, he had to wait and wait and wait and wait. So here was his opportunity. After knocking heads off, he went on a goddamn stopping spree for him to finally get his goddamn shot. And Lord knows, with the bright lights on and the roar of the crowd, we seen what played out in front of us. It was brutal, y'all. Is Canelo Alvarez going to have to experience the same thing? I don't know, man. I won't be on record as saying that Canelo, and what I said about Spence is the same. No, they're not the same fighter. But I do believe, I'm talking about maximizing my belief with every bit of confidence that Crawford's going to walk out of here as 3-time undisputed without any compunction whatsoever. No intrepidation, man. I'm telling you, that's what my belief is. For you fools that continue to get mad at what I say, you don't have to believe what I'm talking about. I just believe Crawford's IQ is better than Canelo's. I believe Bomac, his plan is going to be much more efficient and efficacious than Eddie Reynoso. I believe that. Don't give me too much power. Don't be mad at me and say you don't fuck with what I'm talking about, but you mad at me. You know what I'm saying? You get mad at what I'm saying. This shit don't make no sense. Because if you didn't care about what I'm saying, why put yourself in a conundrum of emotions? All because I'm talking about a fighter you heard me talk about in the High Grease Chronicles. Look, I don't have time to assassinate your stupidity. That's too much energy for me. It's a lot of us that get on here and talk about our favorite fighters. I'm just one of those that been doing it since the test of time, where these guys on here that sit up here. Oh, I'm a fan of the sport. I'm a fan of the sport. The sport. I'm a fan of the sport, not the fighter. It's funny how they have taken sides now, huh? Hey, believe me when I tell you, it's funny how they switched up now, huh? These MFers have sold out. And they was the same ones talking about, I'm a fan of the sport, not the fighter. I don't give a damn about these fighters. I'm a fan of the sport. And boy, you talking about goddamn online fellatio at its best. You can't say that about me and the fighters I support. You just can't come to that conclusion, man. I've been telling you, I rock with the fighters I rock with heavy is the ones I rock with heavy for a long time. T.O. had to come off that list due to his ignorance stupidity, and the fact that he understand what he was doing and knew it was going to be controversial, and he sold this. He decided to sell himself out. But Crawford, I tell people all the time, they'll say, "Hey, come back. What you gonna do if?" No, I know where you're going. My mindset ain't like that. I don't go in here and say, okay, just because I rock with a fighter like Crawford to to the high heavens, that I go in there with scenarios like other people do and say, you know what, I fuck with Crawford, but I'm going with Canelo. That's not me. I'm going with Crawford from the beginning, in the motherfucking heat of battle, and after the heat of battle has happened. It just so happened in one of the biggest fights of his career, me and other Crawford fans, we enjoyed a festivity of celebratory freaking fish from all walks of life. I do want to issue a public apology of the generations of fishes that never made it back to the goddamn waterway. Okay, they have since been deceased. Okay, filleted. Okay, cleaned up. Put in some type of heat to cook them perfectly, and they was consumed by humans. Yeah, and then you know what happens after that? It goes to the digestive tract, out to the and then we flush that thing. But I do want to apologize to all the generations that felt that fish was going to college or whatever. That's not going to happen. But anyway, Omaha, from what I understand, they're having to go on away today. I want to wish them nothing but the best. I want to wish them nothing but the best for whatever. I definitely could not make it. I appreciate Gooch, reaching out, but I definitely couldn't make that right now. I couldn't. It's just, I just have other priorities going on right now that I just couldn't make it. But I wish them nothing but the best and having fun. I hope a lot of content creators show up that wasn't there last time and really support this going away for Bud Crawford. And like I was saying, people will say, why you haven't got an interview with Crawford, this, that, and the other. Look, Crawford has never been easy to get an interview. Well, what I can remember and what I always say to my listeners, right? These fighters volunteer their time to give you information. They volunteer their time to allow you entry into their space to talk to you. They don't have to do it. It's not a right. It's a privilege, right? Crawford gave me one interview. I asked him several times leading up to that, and he said, no. He finally gave me an interview. But when he gave me the interview, he gave it to me in a way that said, no other freaking media is going to be a part of it. And I always respect it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really been back on the scene like that, like I said, because the media game has changed. But I respected what he did. And all the times I've seen Crawford in person and asked him for a pic or whatever, just small talk, never had an issue. Never said no. I'm talking about for a picture. He did say no in the beginning for an interview because a lot of people who follow him understand he wasn't about that. But he's definitely changed that up. And for those who's been able to interview him one-on-one in person, cool. I mean, look, it's not a competition on where you don't compare. Some of these cats believe they in a competition, and they actually you don't compare, bro. I don't go. I never went into this media game trying to be in the competition with nobody. But you'll find out more people believe that it's a competition based off the work that you put out, and if they respect it. Like I would say, me and my boy Shaw News, one thing that we benefited from that no other content creators could say they did was that we knew how to work cameras. We had the lens game. You know what I'm saying? Not just the interview, not just getting interviews and all that. The camera is the window to the past. Catching that frame will always be there. That picture will always be there. So I just always look at the versatility of covering boxing and being able to see Crawford in this era accomplish what he's been able to accomplish, and to go in there in 15 days and put on a masterclass performance versus Canelo Alvarez. Don't let the words dictate how you respond to somebody who's just speaking an opinion. That's all I'm saying. It's just an opinion. But y'all cats be goddamn in my inbox like I'm speaking facts. If I'm that good that my opinion somehow draws facts, then what does that say about you, goddamn it? I'm speaking boxing. Yes, everyone knows that I am a storyteller sometimes, but you have to get it in your head. If I believe Crawford is going to put on a masterclass against Canelo, why can't you not believe what I'm talking about? That's all I'm saying. If you believe what I'm talking about, then rock with it. If you don't believe what I'm talking about, chill. I mean, goddamn, shout it. He about to beat Canelo ass, man. Front and center, goddamn. He about to beat Canelo ass, man. You can feel how you want to feel. He about to go ahead and beat Canelo ass. And goddamn it, I want y'all to stand tall on your channels. I want you to do open panels all day on the 14th because I'm going to be showing up. I'm going to be showing up, y'all. I ain't going to show up and look through the window. When you see me backstage, please allow me to become a part of the panel. That's all I need. You know, don't switch up the routine, man. Don't switch up the routine. I don't want to hear, oh my God, I don't want to hear this guy talk. I don't want to hear. Hey, man, greatness comes from challenges, man. Not all challenges are alike. We know that. So why would you expect a moment like this, where Crawford is attempting to be great, to come easy for him? It's not going to come easy for him, man. Do you understand? This ain't going to come easy. Greatness comes from challenges. My only disappointment in telling you that greatness comes from challenges, and not all of them are alike, is because Crawford is a prime example of a fighter that's challenging themselves. And the challenging part of it is not only the fact that he's moving up 2 weight divisions, it's the fact that those who are supposed to be in support of a combat sport that's been in existence for decades, they themselves are unwilling to challenge the notion that Crawford actually have a chance to go out here and beat Canelo. They're unwilling to challenge their thought process to say, as many boxing debates and conversations I've been in over time, I'm going to remain obstinate for the wrong reasons. If you're going to be in a combat sport from the outside looking in, and you say you're so-called a content creator, or you're a boxing hardcore enthusiast or aficionado, you too have to have some type of flexibility in how you approach the way you think about these fighters that you support. They'll tell you in the chat, if they are in here going for Canelo, that's them. I don't feel no type of way about them going for Canelo. They can go for Canelo. Canelo is a Hall of Famer as we speak. And the same could be said about Bud Crawford. That's not difficult, right? I mean, I don't think it's difficult, man. I don't think that's difficult for corresponding recipients, those who pay close attention to what's been going on in the next, what's going to be going on in the next 15 days. The correspondents shouldn't have you up here feeling some type of way, because I'm just a little bit taken back that not many people are talking about this fight. This fight right here is about how you're learning. Think about it. This fight right here in 15 days is about how you're learning. They talk about boxing being the school of hard knocks, right? So why speak about it being a school of hard knocks if you're not going to be a student? People tell you they're a student of the game all the freaking time, but everything they've learned while they're trying to so-called earn this degree in the school of hard knocks, they only want to see it one way. You can't see it one way. You can't go in there and say that Crawford don't have any chance of going in there and beating Canelo. You're looking at everything Canelo has did up to this point. And the one little bookmark that you keep skipping over is the fact that this man's been defeated twice in his career. And you want to continue to look at it as if you want to mentally expunge it, erase it, you know what I'm saying, wipe it clean, and put your own data in there as if it never existed. That's not fair to the people. That's not mother effing fair to the people, yo. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all be on here giving testaments, man. I'm going to give a testament, man. I don't want y'all to shut down or stop supporting the sport just because Crawford pulls off and come up with the victory on September 13th. I don't want you to give up something that you love, okay? And there was a lot of people who supposedly had this loyalty when it came to Spence. You couldn't tell them anything. They'll tell you they was been there since the test of time. When they would tell you they helped cultivate Spence's career online. It was certain people that say, "Hey, I was there when Spence was hot. I follow him," But I'm gonna tell you, once Spence lost to Crawford, man, those people start covering soccer, football, volleyball, cricket, more cricket. They started watching horse races. They started watching Westminster dog shows. I'm just saying, they started looking at other televised shows that had nothing to do with boxing. You know, those bookmarks that you have on your PC that sends you to certain boxing outlets. They even erased their bookmarks, yo. You had people that we was used to watching all the time, all because of Crawford beating Errol Spence up the way he did, man. They no longer exist on the YTC. And I look back and I always say this with passion. With passion. I remember watching them break open those smoking bud packs. And I was just sitting back there, just looking at how overjoyed they was, man. Oh man, they look so cheerful. And then look at this right here. Oh, smoking bud pack. They was up there bobbing and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? They was so happy to get their shirt before the fight. That inventory was complete, man. They was all on the phone. They was in private group chats and shit. Hey, everybody got their shirt. Everybody got their shirt. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, this worked out. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I told you to order in bulk, man. And you get a discount, man. Cool. I mean, dude, they was ready to assume their battle positions in Vegas, yo. They got up in that motherfucker, man. They had that shirt damn near in a motherfucking glass casing in their suitcase. I mean, this shit was so funny, dog. I'm finding out. Look, I remember watching the fight, and I'm finding out it's certain people that was at the fight, right? And I was like, cool. We got a lot of aerosexuals that's actually in attendance, so they can see this shit play out right there in person. I was like, oh, them mother effers. They planned a little covert ops mission, and they was gonna wear their shirts, and they felt that Spence was gonna get the victory. So they was going to take a group picture after the fight. Boy. In the pursuit of happiness, goddamn turned to a frown quick, yo. When that jab landed in the second round, I tell you, The stories I was hearing. Oh, he slipped, y'all. He slipped. Somebody threw a brand new Dole banana peel in there. They must have been pissed off for some reason. May put the money on the fight, but they tried to trip Crawford up, and no. Spence slipped on the banana peel. They was coming up with all types of stuff. The referee got to do a better job. Harvey Dock should have seen that ice cube out there. I swear to God, he should have seen that ice cube out there. But I think Spencer's going to be all right. That was a slip. Clearly, they're saying it was a knockdown. And to hear these content creators that were straight up Crawford haters watch the whole fight all the way to the conclusion, which they never went the distance, and they start getting online immediately. I remember this one guy, man. It's so funny. Hilarious. I remember he said he turned around. I think his name was Martell. Martell turned around and looked at that guy BF. And they locked eyes. You know, hearing what I'm hearing about. I'm thinking, no, man. Anyway, he said he locked eyes with BF and he was shaking his head like, no, man, this ain't right. What you mean it ain't right? What you mean it ain't right, dog? He said, no, man, this ain't right here. That ain't Spence up there, man. That was a clone, dog. He said that was a clone. I mean, I cannot stop thinking about that shit, dog. Look, out of all the thousands of fans in attendance, you get people that, hey, thanks to Rachel Donaire. Rachel Donaire, did the damn thing. She pretty much assisted some of these broke content creators to go out there to Vegas to be able to enjoy freaking Errol Spence. Shout out to Rachel Donaire and Nonito Donaire for helping out the less fortunate. He said he turned around and he locked eyes with this dude when Errol Spence was shut down, when he was defeated, when he lost. And he was saying, no, that ain't Spence, man. That was a clone. Man, he was high. He was weight drained. We said to ourselves, oh man, no, that ain't Spence. Who is it then, dog? What superhero was there? Was it a part of the Black Panther Coalition in Texas? What was it, man? It was so hilarious, y'all. Like, it was nothing better to be eating on some freshly cooked shrimp. I'm talking about the big juicy ones too. And some fried perch. Oh my God, with just a dab of tartar sauce. Oh, and some goddamn down south sweet tea. And looking at these live streams pop up, y'all. I'm telling you, man, that shit was, oh my goodness. It was absolutely hilarious, man. The look of disappointment. I'm not saying this is going to be the same thing to play out September 13th. All I'm saying is these individuals are now trying to transfer their delinquent membership with Spence over to Team Canelo, right? They're still trying to put in all their applications with 15 days left. They're waiting, and they believe that September 13th, it will be a time for them to get their revenge. Even though Canelo is not from Texas, these individuals believe that they can live vicariously through Canelo Alvarez on September 13th to basically avenge the beating that was put on Spence. Say it ain't so, goddammit. Say it ain't so. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm trying to be a mediator in this. I don't want them to deteriorate, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever, melancholy they did have for the sport of boxing. I don't want that to deteriorate. I don't want any degrading I don't want them to go through a debilitated process anymore. I just want them to go into this September 13th fight knowing that Crawford has a high chance of going in there and dominating Canelo Alvarez. There's a high percentage. Okay. Now, like I say, always, if you don't feel that Crawford has the higher percentage, don't take what I say to heart. Don't make it into a turbulent prediction for you to damn near lose your job when you go back from lunch today. Okay? I don't want you losing your job, man. God damn. I'm trying to be a better person. I stopped handing out headstones. Man, I'm trying to be a better me. That's all I'm saying. But who am I if I didn't set the stage? I have to set the stage for September 13th for Crawford to get Canelo that ass whooping. Point blank, period. Point blank, mother effing period. Shut your ass up. You have to understand, Canelo, you got the money, you got the paycheck, and after this fight, you will have enough medical attention to nurse yourself back to health and then start doing interviews. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Hot Grease Chronicles for your ass, man. Wake up. Understand that we have 15 days out. Period. I'm not telling you, so you become all frantic. I really want to know if y'all out there, those of you that are prior or former Errol Spence fans, right? Can you please drop me a little info in my inbox, my DMs, if you're planning on being out there in Vegas on the 13th, please? I just want to know what channels to look out for. And I just, to be honest, I just want to, kind of do some screen grabs of your facial expressions so I can put them on a thumbnail, maybe on the 15th to 16th that following week. So we can kind of have an open panel and talk about some things. That's all. That's all, man. And the even funnier part about this, Canelo know better not to make no smoking bud pack shirts. He know better. But when it comes to the blacks, man, they learn off the struggle too much, man. Not only did you make one shirt, you said that shirt is sold out, so you made another shirt. And you didn't think Crawford was going to get his get back? You're talking about the big fish looking for TC and goddamn all this other shit that was popping, man. Did you know that man was going to come back? He was going to return? I guess sometimes it's better for you to be taught on the job. And that's exactly what happened July 29, 2023. And the good part about it, you had damn near 24 months to gather yourself. Reacclimate yourself into society. And if you select to attend September 13th in Vegas, be on your best behavior. I just don't want y'all going up here talking about, man, F-boxing. It's a setup. F-boxing. No, I don't want to hear that now. I don't want to hear that shit. I just want you to understand it's okay to have a passionate level of energy. But what I'm not trying to promote is absence in the aftermath. I'm not trying to promote absence. I'm trying to keep you on deck and listen, because this is it. It's not going to be another Spence, fight like they did with Crawford. And then once Crawford go in here and disperse of Canelo Alvarez, things are going to get boring for you. All I'm trying to say, I'm trying to promote for you to sustain your interest in boxing. Don't run. Stay right here. Sponge it all up. Inhale. Let that sit in your lungs a little bit. Let it burn. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to be all right. Just pick another fighter. You still got that guy named Jerron Ennis, you know. And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I wasn't gonna mention him, but once again, Crawford is good for beating up two freaking fighters in one night. He good for that shit. He beat up Errol Spencer, Jamel Charlo in the same building, same night. Now he about to goddamn go in there because guess what? I'm pretty sure Ennis is gonna be there ringside. He about to beat up Canelo and Jerron Ennis. And a lot of boxing fans don't even know what they have to do with one another. Why would you go? Because some people believe. There's not many out there that the selection process isn't high. Let's go over here to Philly. You okay with that, Eddie? Go over here to Philly. They say the guy Ennis, the guy Ennis a switch hitter. They say that. They say that. How much you think he charging? We go up there for 2 days. We check out Ennis. He switch it. Have him work on some things. Now, I must bring this to your attention, right? Is that I've been hearing people saying that Jerron Ennis made Canelo quit in 3 rounds. You know what I got to say about that? I really don't have anything to say about it. Because when it comes down to kindergarten and preschool of hard knocks, I understand why you have some old niggas that's still in the goddamn first grade when it comes to the school of hard knocks. I get it, because they don't know how to create their own freaking lane and topic to talk about shit. If one person say, oh man, the rumor is, they all want to get together in the private chat and talk about Jerron Ennis stopping Canelo in 3 rounds. Now all of a sudden, we're going to get Ennis fighting Canelo now? What does it have to do with September 13th? Nothing at all. I could care less if people want to get on here and talk about Ennis stopping Canelo in 3 rounds. Nobody cares. It's sparring at the end of the day. And I don't believe that bullshit one iota. Okay? It sounds good and everything, but I don't believe that shit at all. Let me go over here and scan through the hottest chat. My guy Haynes Legacy in the building. What it do? CJ Rich. And blessings to you, man. You and the fam, man. God bless. Continue to, give prayer to my boy Haynes Legacy and Toby, man. Give them strength, Father God. You know what I'm saying? Give these warriors strength, man, to recover. You know what I'm saying? So they can put these health issues behind them. You know what I'm saying? Allow them your blessings to be whole. He said the weight gain of Bud seemed a little crazy to me because he had a year to get used to it. Plus, Bud has been planning on the Canelo fight for years, but Canelo been planning for no more than a year. True, man. Bailey on deck. What it do, man? Carlos on deck. What's good? Madrimov movement and footwork is top drawer. So I don't think you can compare Madrimov fight with Canelo fight. Just my opinion. I mean, I agree. I don't compare Madrimov to Canelo. He hasn't even did enough to be in the conversation. My analysis was just simply how people discount Madrimov a champion with 11 fights at the time that Bud dispersed of him. That's all I'm saying. I no way, shape, or form, if I want to talk about September 13th, will bring up Madrimov as a measuring stick for Bud's performance. I think Bud did everything he was supposed to do in that fight. He did everything he was supposed to do. Man, shout out to my guy Haynes Legacy, man, with the 10-piece in the Cash App. I appreciate you as always, man. Grateful for your support as a day one, soldier on deck, marching. Man, thanks for the 10-piece, man. One love to you and the fam, man. You already know. And for those of you that want to support the Cash App, man, it's right there. Let me take that down. That's an old. Let me put the new one up there. I know the real ones would drop a donation, but the other ones, they just be mad. They just mad because I keep on putting 3 times up there. You know what I'm saying? But thanks to you there, Haynes. Thanks to you, bro. BG in the building, man. What it do? What it do? What it do, bro? Chat, support the channel. Best to do it. Cash out because WCS get 100% of the donation. If not, hit the super chat because WCS work hard to create this content. Much love. I appreciate you, man. You know what it is, Haynes. I do what I do, man. I try, dog. But you can't make everybody happy, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell my listeners to refresh the super chat because they gotta want to do it on their own, man. They know YouTube take 30 off the rip. They take 30 off the rip, dog. We got the blasphemy, Puss in Boots, putting hands, feet, and elbows. Why the hell are creators acting brand new as if Bud won't put twice the punishment than Boots? You got to ask yourself why in a lot of ways, man. You know what I'm saying? Why is mud so dirty? I mean, you know what I'm saying? We already know mud dirty. But when it comes to boxing content, man, they love bathing in it, though. You know, they love bathing in dirt, man, for subs and views. You know, they want to say, they want to get together and say Boots was up there stopping Canelo in 3 rounds. Now, why would information be put out there like that if you're trying to promote a fight? Do you think people truly going to believe that all of a sudden what the odds are looking like right now, that saying that Ennis stopped Canelo in 3 rounds is going to affect the odds? Man, stop it. Stop your mother. You better stop it. You better stop it. Let me see right quick what those. So Crawford is at plus 150 right now, and Canelo is like minus 180. For those of you who want to know, Blue Hustle in the building. What it do, man? What up with you, bro? You're blaming on me, Blue. Yeah. WCS has been going live earlier than usual sometime. Okay, blame it on me. Yeah. Yeah. I hope you don't dislocate your elbow extending that arm out with your finger pointing. You know what I'm saying? You know, be careful, man. You know you ain't a spring chicken no more. You ain't that young no more, man. Be careful. I never had a set schedule, brother. You know that, Blue. After Bud rearranges Canelo's facial features, it's going to be some D-heads claiming Bud damaged him, Boots damaged him in sparring. And Yo was probably the one putting hands and feet on. So, hey, man, to put it this way, AB, I don't care what they say. They can say all they want to say about, Boots put hands and feet and, did what he did. I could care less because I know that shit ain't true. I know Team Canelo is not going to go over there all of a sudden to spar Boots and allow Boots to get the best of him. If it even happened, I don't believe that shit one bit, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that shit one bit at all, bro. We might TKO Bud, referee stops. Referee don't want to see no more. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm looking at strictly a TKO. Can he get knocked out cold with a KO? It's possible. But, there's human beings out here that support combat sports heavy. But they don't ever want to prove that they have to be open-minded about certain areas of combat sports, being that they have all these fights that they can reach back. Oh, I want to use this fight right here. I want to use that fight right there. But you don't want to use this fight. We've had several instances where we can draw names from the past on fights that never was supposed to happen. They happen anyway. And it didn't turn out the way people thought. No one thought George Foreman would come back at 45 and defeat Michael Moore. This is nasty work at WCS. Thanks for breaking down Big Nello's FICO through the FICO still stellar, where Bud got the white rich man FICO, while Nello has the white middle class FICO. Hey man, one thing I'll say about this, Haynes, is that Canelo, he's making that bag. But for Crawford to be a small, unimportant fighter that he gains nothing from, he sure enough, Canelo, asked for 150 mil to fight this unimportant fighter. 150? Come on. Yeah, Amir Khan did this thing, man. American, he had some of the fastest hand in the game. For real, Toby. Bud had 3-headed dragon behind him. Canelo has Ped Patrol with him. Damn. Say it with your chest. For real. And for those of you that's listening, getting mad that Canelo is called Clinello, he did test positive. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of Mauricio Suleiman increasing the limits. Shout out to Latch Puma in the building, man. Salute to you and the fam, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that Warrior's doing fine. Your son still up there grinding out. Okay, we'll be in Philly Sunday. Okay. For those you content creators, man, go over there and support, man. That, you know, I believe it's gonna be an amateur tournament or something like that. Or he might be at the gym. Go support the young warrior, you know. Shout out the news by Shaw News Sauce Experience in the building, man. Team Tucker Fisher on deck. Most of these content creators are weirdos. Absolutely. We found that out. For sure. For sure. We have found that out there, Shaw News. It's crazy. I've seen just a portion of your portfolio, and it's the content creators have just a fraction you've sown. They would be uber famous. So there's no competition. I appreciate that, man. You know, the catalog, man, like I say, it's a lot of cats that I met back then that I ain't see these new cats. The new cats come on the scene, and all they talk about is if they reinvent the wheel. I know. I thought I was on the grind. I was out there on the grind. You know what I'm saying? Like when I met Shaw News, man, this dude knew more people than I knew, and he wasn't even on YouTube like that. I mean, you meet people out there in them trenches, man. I'm telling you, a lot of the new cats that you see that's on here talking like they was out there at these fights, they wasn't, man. They wasn't. I'm being totally honest. I remember Bud saying when he was with Top Rank, he's the fighter. He pays Bob to do the promote. That's why he didn't do any interviews. That's facts, man. He paid him to promote, man. You know? We got to stop using words like possible, maybe, could, while speaking the conclusion of this bout, Crawford bout, period. Yeah, I stay away from that. I understand what that mentality is. I think people, you know, want to be on safe mode there, Haynes. They want to be on safe mode. They don't want to goddamn pick it up with no safety. They want to be on safe mode all the freaking time. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's always some strays that come over here saying some shit that don't make sense. It's all good, man. It's all good. I don't knock you for that. At least you're keeping it boxing. So I won't have to work on my penalty kicks, man. I can't even tell the crew what to do because I can't stop laughing. But I write, content creators became content monitors. This shit changed, bro. All those shirts are in the trash now. Oh man, I think some of them still hanging up for a possibility that they can hold their fist up there, Blue, and they can have that damn shirt, even though it's dirty. It got goddamn silicone Windex on that mug, 409. They've been using it as a cleaning rag. They're gonna say, "Here we are. This is the night of all nights. This is where we take a stance. Let's chant in unison. Canelo, 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 Canelo. Boy, they got that. Boy, they know. They know what happened, boy. They know they can't goddamn show up to Vegas this time around in the Legion Stadium trying to talk all that. Your name implies that you know something. No, 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 no. So asking that question is very disrespectful. No one picked just because they're undefeated. No, no, that don't know. Let's not assume, man. Let's not assume that just because someone knows how to find the home keys and to type out a description, they come with integrity. No, that's not the case. It's not the case, Haynes. Look at the response. Hey, Blue Hustle, I'm going for Bud. I just think the undisputed champion is being understated. I'm a boxing fan. I can't just be biased. So it's biased when you're actually supporting somebody. I'm talking about hard. You supporting them without a shadow, without any type of doubt. You know what I'm saying? You rock with them heavy. So if a person rocks with a fighter heavy, it's biased. But depending on when you came in here, I said that Canelo, he's earned his achievements. He's a Hall of Famer today. I guess you was out there kicking rocks barefooted somewhere in the Himalayas. You know what I'm saying? When I said that, I guess you didn't have Wi-Fi service out that bitch, man. I'm just put it out there. Like to come over here and say, "Oh, you're just going, man." Y'all be saying that dumb shit just for reaction. Because you say, "Oh, you're just going for Crawford because he's undefeated," and then turn around and say, "Hey, I'm a Crawford fan too, but I'm a freaking say something stupid in your chat so you can give me attention." Tyrese, what's good, man? I'm just going through some of these. We all know Nelo's status, but he's number one on anyone's pound for pound, but Bud reigns supreme. Absolutely, you know what it is, man. I see your money. I see you. What's good with it? He said, "I would get you to do this full time one day." Hey man, hey, when I just like Shaw News just meant when I was doing it full time, you had people up here. Oh man, you ain't got no views. You ain't got no views. But they were listening. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, but I can't do nothing. YouTube has its own way of putting the information out there, man. I can't do the shit. Heavyweights can't be on the pound for pound. Bro isn't made for them, but he's a great fighter though. Canelo definitely tells nobody talks about that, but talks about Bud being with Snack. Absolutely, they talk about him being Snack, man. Absolutely. They talk about him being with Snack because they need something to balance out the guilty part, the liability that Canelo holds with being a dirty fighter. Will it blemish his career enough to stop him from being the first ballot? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, man. If Bud would have tested positive for anything other than greatness, God damn it, boy, they would have said, "No, you don't deserve a fight." Back when you fought Gamboa, your A sample came back negative. I mean, positive. Your B sample came back positive. Therefore, we have to take this to another vote and put you on a probationary period of 15 months. Okay? And we're going to bring you back in here. And hopefully between then, you did some community service. You know what I'm saying? You went out here and spoke to the boys and girls, the youth. You know, I mean, Crawford would have had to do all this community service and donate back to the community, bro. Have you learned anything, Mr. Crawford, from the last 15 months? How much money have you donated? I know you made a bulk load of money in your career. I donated 50,000 to St. Jude's Hospital. Only 50,000. Oh my God, what a selfish individual. I heard you had a mansion, you got property all over Omaha, you got fishing boats everywhere. 50,000. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what it seemed like it'll be if Bud was to test positive for something other than greatness. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting it out there, yo. But I'm at an hour and a half. Thank God Haynes Legacy is in the mother effing building, dog. I feel good on this Friday. I don't have to receive a phone call talking about, hey, man, you did a live that was 30 minutes. That ain't considered a live. And I feel some type of way about it. I ain't trying to goddamn, get personal or anything. I ain't trying to start that. I'm just saying, goddamn, I got the notification, clicked on the mug, and goddamn the outro was playing. I did an hour and a half, Shouty, for real. Hour and a half. That's one whole hour, 60 minutes. And then you split 60 in half for another 30. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting it out there, man. I'm just putting it out there because, there will be people from the hottest chat in the game. The good thing about it, too, is that this was just a Hot Grease Chronicles and not anything dealing with Tank Davis. So I didn't really have to, hear Blue Hustle start glazing certain aspects of the topic. No, not right now. If I have time to come back on later, I'm going to do an open panel. Okay. I got to put it out there. If I return, I would do an open panel for the hottest chat in the MF game. Okay. A-Side official. Y'all already know. Another time, another place.